Today, the moon shifts from Scorpio, where things are deep and intense and powerful, into Sagittarius, where we start to get a little bit of perspective on some of those more intense processes. I'm Marina Ormes here with your Astro Vibe for Tuesday, October 17th. And we are looking at how we are completing the current time of the moon being in Scorpio, where we are transforming, we're feeling things very deeply. It's a time of confronting some deeper truths, some facing some changing circumstances or hard realities as we go through the process of letting go of old ways of being and stepping into what it is we are becoming in that death and rebirth process. That is what life is all about, ultimately. So it's about what we get and what we do with it while we have it, and then how we let it go when it's time to move on to the next thing. And so what does that look like? How is it showing up in your life? We can start to ask those questions and make meaning out of what's been unfolding at those deeper energetic levels when the moon shifts into Sagittarius, which it is doing today. It depends on your time zone. It's around 12:30, a little bit afternoon on the West Coast, Pacific time zone, Eastern time, it'll be more around 3:30 p.m. So Europe, it'll be into the evening. So it just depends on where you are. Anyway, at some point, the moon shifts from Scorpio into Sagittarius, and that shift from anything being in the sign of Scorpio into going into the sign of Sagittarius brings us the ability to reflect on our circumstances. It brings the ability to philosophically think about what is the meaning of what's been happening. How does it impact us? How do we tell that story? And so, as we know, the way that we tell the story matters, right? The truth that happens is deep and complicated and multifaceted, and it's very complicated. So when you tell the story, you get to pick and choose the highlights that you're going to convey. And that is what Sagittarius is about. It's about how we tell that story. It's also about how we synthesize. When we have a million different data points, how do we see the pattern there, and what do we do with that pattern? So how do we convey? And that's when it comes to themes of philosophy or theories or a truth, in the way that it might be presented, a paradigm, a way of explaining something, a way of understanding something. All of it comes down to a way of making meaning. And so with today's shift of the moon from Scorpio into Sagittarius, we start to, on a personal level, have that ability to reflect on what's been happening and to start to put it into words, start to think about how we want to tell that story. And you can focus on what is the most empowering way of telling that story, right? The way that we tell the story matters. So do you want to tell the story as if you're a victim, or do you want to tell the story as if you are learning new ways to do things, for example, right? So choosing the spin that you put on it, right? And thinking about your outcomes, your desired outcomes, when you choose that story, when you choose that spin, when you choose the way that you are telling the story to yourself, but also the way you're telling that story to other people you might be sharing the information with. So how it's more than a silver lining, right? There's ways of finding the silver lining within the thing that's happened. No, this is more. This is about how we are constructing the future out of what has been happening. And so how do we tell that story in a way that allows it to be a step toward the future we want, rather than the end of something, or allowing it to make meaning that we are powerless, right? So think about the civil rights movement, or the feminist movement, right? If people told the story as like, okay, anytime there's a little defeat, we're going to give up. If we were telling the story that way, oh, they won, we're unworthy, we're not good at this, we'll never get the things we want. If the story was told that way, then how empowering would that be? Not very. So, but if we tell the story as, yes, this was a setback, but we learned this from the setback, and here's what we're going to do differently, and here's how we're going to organize better in the future, and here's how we're going to heal some rifts, you know, and in our relationships, which we're focusing on during this moon cycle. So there's some examples for you to think about in terms of your own life, perhaps, and what is making you feel defeated or powerless, and how you can shift or reframe that into a way of telling the story that allows it to be a step toward where you're going, rather than the end point of some sort. All right, hopefully that's helpful. I am Marina Ormes. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. I have openings for private sessions, consultations. When I work with people, I help you with whatever is challenging you in your life, how we can get insight into how to work with that, how to move through it from your chart. So I work with it that way. I don't work with it from the perspective of, I'm going to tell you what your chart says and you get to just figure out what to do with it. That doesn't make sense to me. So instead, we look at it from the perspective of, what do you need help with, and how can your chart help you to leverage the situation you're in and turn it in the direction that serves you and your own highest potential in the best ways possible. So that's me. Astrologyheals.com is where you can schedule time with me. And thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and that helps to support my work. And I so appreciate you being here. I'm here every day with astrology for unshakable self-care, and I will keep you abreast of what the planets are doing, how the moon is helping you stay on track. All right, so I will see you next time, and thanks again. Bye for now.